I'm going to be a speaker here for all of you guys here today. And in the next an hour of 15 minutes over here, ladies and gentlemen, 75 minutes, I will be bringing you guys to a journey, a very, very exciting journey of this particular journey with the emGuarde product over here and also the business opportunity that is available for all of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, so there are two parts of the presentation I'm going to be sharing with all of you guys. Part number one is about the awareness of the danger of the EMF around us and also about the product. And part number two is the more exciting bit, which is the business opportunity and the business plan I'm going to be presenting to all of you guys over here. All right. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here, I understand that some people say that my voice got some echo over here. I don't know how to fix it. It's actually from another device. I think it's another device from my from my handphone over here. Let me just try to sort it out later, yeah? Okay, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me get into the presentation slide here for today. All right there, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by sharing with all of you guys. If some of you guys have not actually bought in to the Essential Energetic Workshop, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you get yourself into it. Yeah, for the Essential Energetic Workshop. For the Essential Energy Workshop is going to happen on 17 and 18 of January over here. And this is the best and the most important workshop for all of us who are serious in this particular business. Right now, it's still at 150 ringgit, yeah, for the early bird price over here. And the early bird price actually lasts until before end of this month itself. So you have not purchased this particular ticket, go ahead and purchase this particular ticket for yourself, yeah? And all right there, ladies and gentlemen, let me get started with the talk here for today. Before I get started, ladies and gentlemen, please take note here. Everybody, please keep your the Zoom on the mute mode for distraction management purposes. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a very, very visual person over here. Can I ask a favor from everybody? Please keep your video on mode for me, please, guys, because if I were to crack a joke and I see you guys smiling, that would just really charge me up that much more. Guys, can you do me a favor? Everybody, please keep your Zoom on video on mode for me, please, guys, right now. Go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Please on your video. Please keep your video on mode for me, please, ladies and gentlemen, so that I can see the expression of everybody. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much over here. Thank you, Darpan. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, Fahin. Thank you very much. All right there, ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, since we have a very cozy crowd over here, one last favor I need to ask from all of you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a very connected speaker. I like to really connect with the audience. Can you do me one last favor here, ladies and gentlemen? If I were to actually ask you any question, can you help me answer some simple yes or simple no or some simple answer will do? Yeah, because the more you respond to me, the more energy I receive from you, and I'll be able to give you guys a very, very good show. Can you all do that for me, ladies and gentlemen? If you can you help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys? Go ahead. Yes, Jasmine, thank you for your response. What about the rest of you guys? Come on, let me see more yeses. Yes, thank you, LV. Thank you, Darpan. What about the rest of you guys? Come on, let me see a little bit more yeses over here. Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you so much. All right there, ladies and gentlemen, let me get started with the show here for today. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ravindra. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying 30 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, so the 30 years ago, children, this is what we play. We play with the bottle caps, we play with the finger games, and we play all sorts of, those were the days, and this is how we socialize together. But today, ladies and gentlemen, children don't play this anymore. And how many of us can actually relate to it that our children are spending more time with our device compared to spending time with us? How many of you guys agree with me on this particular statement? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Yeah, thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, LV. Yes. Our children is spending a little bit more time with the device than with us, especially inside their room on their own. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that this is actually not good. Spending too much time on the devices is not good. But to what degree that we understand that is actually not good? To really understand that, ladies and gentlemen, let's understand it in a more holistic picture. Let me start talking about earth pollution first. Now, on earth, we have water pollution, we have air pollution, we have noise pollution over here. But there is another type of pollution that we're not even aware about. It's called the EMF radiation pollution. EMF stands for electromagnetic fields. What is really meaning here is this, ladies and gentlemen, that our phones that we use on a day-to-day basis remit out an unwanted energy, or some people call it the radiation that can be harmful to our body over here. Now, why do we call it pollution, ladies and gentlemen? Now, do me a favor, guys. Just look around in your room that you're sitting in right now very quickly. Just look around in your room and calculate how many electronic devices that you see, including the lights, including your handphone, including your laptops that you are in front of. How many electronic devices that you see? Can you help me type a number in the chat group? If you see 5 devices, can you help me type 5? If you see 10 devices, can you help me type 10 in the chat group over here? LV says that he's surrounded by 8 devices. And I can tell you, thank you, LV, for the answer. What about the rest of you guys? How many devices are surrounding you? In my room over here is no less than 10 devices that we are talking about that is actually surrounding us. Jasmine is saying 7 devices. Wow, guys, do you know that you are already surrounded in the EMF radiation pollution environment over here? Most people know about handphone, but guys, the radiation from the handphone, but most people don't know that your laptop remits out the same amount of radiation of your handphone, and the air cons that you're enjoying is remit out the same amount of radiation, and even your LED lights, ladies and gentlemen, is actually full of high radiation as well. Now, guys, so because of this, is very, very important for us to make the correct decision to make sure to protect our family in a way that will keep them safe in an environment. Now, guys, let me just connect with all of you guys here a little bit over here. You can see that there are 8 electronic devices on screen over here. Guys, can you just type your answers in the chat group? Let me connect with you a little bit over here. How many of this device that you see on screen is the device that you do not have at your home? Just type your answers in the chat group real quick for me. For example, if you don't have one device, for example, you don't have an induction cooker at home, 1 out of 8 devices, just type 1 in the chat group right now for me, please. LV say all plus a few more. Yeah, thank you very much. Jasmine say 1, all at home. Wow, thank you so much for your response. The guys, I want to tell you this, yeah. My mother always tell me this, don't buy house below high tension wire. And I asked my mother, why is that so, mom? Because she says it's full of radiation. But a lot of us don't realize one thing. If you have 7 out of 8 item or 8 out of 8 item over here, you are already living in a house below high tension wire in the modern days environment already. Much like the picture that you're seeing, the video that you're seeing over here. So, ladies and gentlemen, some people may be asking me, Marcus, show me the proof. Why do you say so? So in order to show you the proof over here, allow me to share with you the negative effect of electromagnetic disturbance over here. To show you that, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to what WHO has to say. Now, this is a press release that's been released by WHO in 2011, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, quite some time ago. And this is what it says. The WHO/International Agency for Research on Cancer has classified radio frequency electromagnetic fields as possibly carcinogenic. Now, carcinogenic means cancer-causing, yeah, to human under the grouping of 2B. Now, based on the increased risk for glioma, what is glioma? Glioma is a malignant type of brain cancer associated with wireless phone use over here. Now, guys, what is this particular statement is really saying here is this. If I were to summarize it, what it's really saying is this particular device over here has the potential to cause brain tumor over here. Not only this device, the laptops that we are using at home can potentially give you a carcinogenic situation as well, even the LED lights as well. Everything electronic in our house is possibly carcinogenic for all of us. Now, guys, allow me to share with you 2 real-life cases that actually happened to my colleague and their friends over here. And these are just 2 real-life cases, and let me share with you the case of Cindy over here first. Cindy is a colleague of mine, not a real name, and one of our friends asked, hey, Cindy, can you come over to my husband's factory? My husband has been getting sick lately, and can you do the demo thing and do the scan in my husband's factory so that I know whether is it because of EMF that my husband is sick? So Cindy went over to the factory and saw the factory. And the first thing that she observed is this, that her husband's office is right next to the power room. You know, the power room that basically powered the entire factory, right? So a bit suspicious. So she continued on to do the demo. And after the demo later, she realized, wow, the radiation level is very, very high. So Cindy said to her friend, you got to buy an anti-radiation device for yourself. And a friend brought the anti-radiation device, emGuarde. And after that, and Cindy was just a little curious and started asking the friend, hey, my friend, you don't mind me asking a little bit, yeah? Since we're such a close friend, can I ask what happened to your husband? And then the friend say, Cindy, since we're such a close friend, I don't mind telling you. My husband went for a checkup with the doctor and came back. The report says he has gotten glioma over here, brain tumor. Wow. And the minute they understand that, they started counting backward and they realized that the husband has been sitting in the office for the last 8 years, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are really saying to all of you guys over here is that the EMF, it is now what I call the silent killer. It is very, very important to keep our family safe and keep our family protected over here. The second example is even more disturbing, ladies and gentlemen. Another colleague of mine by the name of Jeanette, not her real name. And Jeanette has got a friend, and she just bought a house and she's got a very nice big TV room. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't know, that the TV room in your house or the TV area in your house is consistently the area with the highest level of radiation, simply because the concentration of all the electronic gadgets is usually in that particular area itself. Same goes to Jeanette's friend over here. And Jeanette's friend was asking, hey, Jeanette, can you come over to my house? Yeah, because my kids has been getting sick lately, especially my baby boy over there. Can you do a bit of a demo device and demo test and see whether is it high in radiation, my TV room? Jeanette went over to that particular house, a very big house of the friend, and actually did the demo. And after she did the demo, wow, the radiation level is very high. Jeanette was asking the friend, please get an anti-radiation device. And the friend did. And after the friend bought the anti-radiation device over here, and Jeanette was asking the friend, hey, don't mind me asking for a bit. You were telling me that your children has been getting sick lately, yeah? Yes, yes, yes. Especially my baby boy over here, my toddler. Yeah. So can I just check with you? Jeanette was saying, can I just check with you for a while? Normally, where do you keep your baby boy most of the time? Where does he hang around most of the time? And then the friend say, I keep my baby boy basically in the TV room. Why do you keep your baby in the TV room? It's full of radiation. Now, because the TV room is quiet enough for me to keep him safe and sound asleep over here. No, 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 no. It's full of radiation. Please bring your baby for a checkup. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, and after Jeanette's friend brought the baby for a checkup and the report came back, even the baby, ladies and gentlemen, has also gotten glioma as well. Very, very disturbing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share with you, there is a doctor by the name of Dr. Pinky over here, and this is the book that she has actually written, and the book has a very catchy title. It's called Stop Cooking Your Kid's Brain Over Here. And just a couple of months ago, I was in the convention. It's called EEW, the last EEW, where Dr. Pinky herself was on the stage. And I'm a big fan of her work over here. In fact, Dr. Pinky is such an inspiring doctor that she has armed herself with the knowledge of the danger of the EMF. And she has this particular mission of spreading the awareness to everybody. And if you have not read this book, ladies and gentlemen, or buy this book, I highly recommend you all buy it as well. And through this particular seminar, and I've also discovered one thing, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that the brain tumor among children has increased by 300% in the last 20 years? Guys, you hear me correctly, it's 300%, yeah? Not 30%, not 3%. It's 300% in the last 20 years. Now, guys, I was actually in a small island a couple of months ago in Malaysia called Penang, and I was presenting to a group of 15 people. And as I was sharing this particular statistic, one of the parents sitting right in front just raised her hand and interrupted my talk and said, hey, Marcus, can I just comment a little bit about the statistic that you mentioned over here? I said, sure. I was quite surprised. Someone interrupted me, right? I said, sure. What is your name, ma'am? She said, my name is Nancy, and I'm a piano teacher. I've got a student of mine who've actually gotten glioma, brain tumor over here. And I just want to share with you that one day I went over to the hospital to visit my student who has gotten brain tumor. And I went into the cancer ward and visit him. And I was shocked as I entered into the cancer ward. The reason why I was shocked is because the cancer ward is full of children, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, immediately I got goosebumps. And that particular parent, Nancy, herself was actually the first person that came up and bought an anti-radiation device. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to appeal and actually share with all of us over here. Can you help me type an answer in the chat group? How many of us here will say that we absolutely love our family members over here? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group if you love your family members. Come, guys, connect with me. If you love your family member, help me type yes in the chat group. Thank you, LV, for your response. What about the rest of you guys? Thank you. Yeah. from Jasmine over here. If we love our family member, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we must provide for them, see, this is what we need to provide for our children, right? We must provide education, food, and shelter. And not only that, we need to provide protection for all our family members over here. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, for some of you guys who have not bought into an emGuarde over here, I would challenge all of you guys at the end of the talk here today, make a decision and protect your family with an emGuarde device over here. Now, guys, allow me to share. Some people may say, Marcus, this is 2011. Do you have anything a little bit more current over here? Because this is like more than 14 years ago. Yes, I do, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to share with you this article that's actually came out from May 19, 2025. Now, for some of you guys who would like to go into the internet and do some check on EMF itself, allow me to manage your expectations, guys. If you go online and actually do some check, and generally speaking, you have two major camps on the material that you will be actually, the information that you'll be getting on EMF. Camp number one is what I call the government camp, or let me put in short form, G-camp. Now, the government camp usually will tell you, oh, there is no real danger that is associated with EMF. I understand why the government always says so, is simply because they can't shut down a Panasonic factory just like that overnight and lay off 2,000 people, right? I understand that. But there is another camp, is also known as the activist camp. And these are the camp that is actually full of the practitioner, the activists, and also the doctors who know the evidence of the danger of EMF over here. That has been posing lots and lots of research online over here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you go online, doesn't matter which camp of information that you got. And to me, this is an article that's been published by WHO just a couple of months ago. And to me, this particular article is good enough to share, to show me that is enough danger associated with EMF that we need to take action to make sure our family is safe. Let me share with you. This article is quite long. Bear with me for a while. I'm going to read it out. Yeah, and the article title says, WHO has funded a study that finds EMF exposure increase the incidence of cancer. And let me just read out. The WHO-backed study has found strong evidence linking cell phone radiation to cancer in lab animals. All right, they tested it on lab animals. There are links between cell phone radiation and two types of cancer in lab animals. All right, and a finding of this systematic review indicate that there is evidence of the EMF exposure increases the incidence of cancer in experimental animals with the certainty of evidence. COE stands for certainty of evidence over here. Nothing ambiguous about it. Certain, all right? Being strongest for two types of tumor, which is one is actually malignant heart schwannomas, which is nerve tumor, and another one is glioma tumor of the brain. Now, guys, tumor of the brain is something that's been reported 14 years ago that we found the link. And right now, they even discovered the latest tumor is actually the nerve tumor is associated with EMF over here as well. Guys, mark my word for it. If given another 10 years, you'll see a lot more other tumors that will be associated with the danger of EMF over here. Guys, for some of you guys who have a lot of knowledge on cancer over here, now a lot of people will tend to agree with me. Usually cancer is associated with our lifestyle. That means we have not been eating right, we have not been exercising right, we've been getting a lot of stress. It's all lifestyle related. But guys, it is scary to actually know, even you have all the right style, eat right and exercise right, the environment around you could possibly cause brain tumor and various type of cancer that we're talking about over here, which is why it is so important to keep our family protected. The author go on to conclude the result of this systematic review provide high and moderate COE certainty of evidence for several cancer sites relevant to cancer hazard identification for human being. Guys, this is very clear cut. EMF poses a real life threat. It is the silent killer that needs to be eliminated. Now, guys, not everything is so severe, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the problems, it is very, very mild in nature. Of course, different individual responds to EMF very, very differently. For some people, it could be very severe. For some people, it could be as simple as a headache. Let me just introduce you to EMF Safety Network. A group of experts, what they did is this. They gathered 871 people, all right, and expose them in a high radiation environment, where, which is basically the household item, much like the one that I showed to you guys earlier on in the presentation. And after all the expose of these household electronic gadgets that we're talking about, after a test period, they interviewed these 800 old people, and these are the top 5 response that they have gotten from this particular test. Now, guys, what I'm going to do here is this. I'm going to read out the top 5 response over here. You all do me a favor, okay? If you have experience on this top 5 response, you have me type yes in the chat group for me, please, okay? And for some of you guys who are already a emGuarde user over here, if you have this particular sensation prior to using emGuarde, help me type yes in the chat group for me also, okay? Can you all do that for me? All right, there, guys. Let me just read it out one by one, yeah? Check this out. 71% of the 871 people reported after the test period later they have sleep problem. How many of you guys here struggle with sleeping? You got sleep problem yourself? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. And for some of us, emGuarde user, prior to using the emGuarde, if you have this particular problem, go ahead and type yes for me, please, over here. While you guys are warming up and to type the yes over here, just so you know, sleeping, there is a problem, there's a big spectrum. From the extreme left, which is cannot sleep, all the way to I can sleep, but very light sleeper, you don't get a lot of deep sleep. And this entire series here is a spectrum of sleep problem over here. If you are able to sleep, but your friends and family members are struggling with this particular problem, and the emGuarde is absolutely the device that you wanted to use. Guys, allow me to share with you. Now, sleeping is the #1 testimony that we get from a lot of people who after using this device. I want to tell you there is a particular story of a lovely lady by the name of Jess, and she's from Penang. And I remember meeting Jess one day, and then after doing the demo and after doing the presentation, and she says, Marcus, you know what? Can you come over to my house and do the demo test? Because why? We just recently bought into this very big house, the bungalow, and I've not been sleeping ever since I moved into this house. I said, sure. I went over to her house and I did the test. After I did the test over here, in a particular area that is right next to the greens, the hills, strange. Normally, the one that is closest to the hill, you have the lowest level of radiation because it's close to the nature. But after I sweep the entire house, I say this particular area over here in the hill, I seem to actually detect a high level of radiation. Is there any high tension cable right on top of the hill? And the husband actually interrupted and said, yes, there is one right on top of the hill, but it's not visible to the eye because it's very far away. Could it be that? Actually, Jess asked me, I say, sure, absolutely. Yeah, the high tension cable, it is also causing a lot of radiation and causing a lot of bad sleeping. Now, guys, just to give you some perspective over here, how much Jess was actually struggling. She mentioned to me that every day she cannot sleep. And not only that she cannot sleep, sometimes she wake up in the middle of the night hugging her pillow, trying to actually go into sleep again, but cannot sleep. And she went even so severe to the extent that of actually engaging a feng shui master as well. The feng shui master come over to the house and after check all the feng shui and check her birth date, and then the feng shui master is saying you're not suitable to stay in this particular house over here. Went to that particular extent, to that level. And guess what? I actually was mentioning to Jess, you've got to actually have a device for yourself. And trust me, give it a go, and hopefully you'll be able to sleep well. And she bought the emGuarde device and she on it. The first day is adjustment period. Nothing very much happened. The second day, immediately after that, until today, almost 2 months already, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, I started talking to Jess again. I say, how was it? She says, on the second day onwards until today, which is 2 months later, she's able to sleep every single day, sweet and sound. Wow, guys. Sleeping is the #1 testimony that we're talking about. If you have any friends and family members who cannot sleep, this is the device that you want to keep in your house and have it on to harmonize the environment, the radiation level. #2, 64% of the 871 people reported fatigue. How many of you guys inside the room here feel that you're easily tired, easily fatigued, especially after the vaccine jab? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group for me if you feel easily tired nowadays. Not like before pandemic. Before pandemic, our energy level is a bit better. Easily fatigued, help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Or some of us existing emGuarde user over here, if you have fatigue, easily fatigued prior to actually using the emGuarde itself, go ahead and type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, as well. Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. Guys, I want to tell you this. Personally, I'm 46 years old right now, entering my 50-year-old, late 40s already, LV as well, right after the jab, okay? Entering the 50-year-old range already. Last year, before I used the emGuarde, wow, I remember after meeting 2 clients, wow, immediately I feel very tired and exhausted already. So I don't know what's happening to me. Maybe I'm getting old. That's why I'm getting fatigued. But guys, actually, no. Today, after using emGuarde, people call me Superman. Because on average, I meet about 3 to 6 people. Believe it or not, early in the morning, I start my first appointment already today. And right after this talk over here, I got another evening appointment to finish off my day. On average, 3 to 6 people. And people are now calling me Superman, all because of after using emGuarde, my energy level is a lot better. #3, 61% of the 871 people reported concentration and memory and learning problem. How many of you guys feel that your memory nowadays is not as good as before? You have difficulty remembering people's name as well. So if that is you, ladies and gentlemen, help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Go ahead. Most people will actually tell me this, Marcus. Wow, I tell you, maybe because age is catching up, lah. So that's why my memory is not so good. Guys, believe it or not, yeah, it has a lot to do with the EMF environment. Yeah, electromagnetic field, high EMF environment around you. In the next slide, you'll understand what I mean over here. All right. Next, 60% of the 871 people reported stress and anxiety. Yeah, how many of you guys here experience stress or anxiety over here? Help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please, guys. Go ahead. Stress and anxiety, Jasmine, yes. And LV as well, yes, anxiety. Last but not least, 52% of the 871 people reported headaches. How many of you guys experience headache consistently as well? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Now, headache. I used to have a colleague and he was struggling with headache almost of the time. In fact, he was saying that he's got migraine headache every single week. And after using the emGuarde, the migraine actually completely disappeared. He is so sensitive to the EMF, radiation, the pollution. Yeah? Now, I remember one day I was having an appointment together with him, and we saw 5 handphones on the table. Nobody was on the handphone. Not on the handphone, they were just putting on the table. 5 handphones on the table, ladies and gentlemen. He was already experiencing headache. And as soon as I switched on the emGuarde for about 10 minutes, he said the headache actually disappeared. Now, ladies and gentlemen, looking at the response over here, I can see that a lot of people have on average about 3 out of 5 items over here. Now, guys, if you have 3 out of 5 items, you are already 800 and the member 872 test subject member already. So that's why it is very important to make sure to have your family protected with the emGuarde. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next slide, I want to introduce you to Dr. Magda Harvest. And Dr. Magda Harvest is a professor and also a doctor from Canada. And she did a test. Do you know that, ladies and gentlemen, that a healthy red blood cell actually look like this? Very sparse, very separated. And she did a test. 70 minutes to be on your laptops or your desktop over here. Your red blood cell will start to stick together like a happy family over here. Now, guys, I don't need to convince you. When they start to stick together, blood circulation become better off or become worse off over here. Definitely worse off that we're talking about. So when you have a blood circulation that is actually worse off, and all sorts of sickness will actually come to you. And what is even more scary here is this, guys. 10 minutes of using your mobile phone. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to see how many of you guys use your mobile phone for at least 10 minutes per day. And help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Go ahead. How many of you guys actually, yes, for LV, yes, the whole day for Jasmine. What about the rest of you guys? At least 10 minutes a day, your mobile phone. At least use 10 minutes per day over here. Now, for all of you guys who use a mobile phone for at least 10 minutes, and your red blood cells will actually clump up together, they stack on top of each other. And there's a scientific, thank you, Gopal. There's a scientific name for that as well. It's actually called rouleau formation over here. Now, why does there's a name for it, ladies and gentlemen? If you have any friends who are doctors, ask them. Now, the reason why there's a name for that is because all cancer patients, let me repeat, all cancer patients, their blood sample actually looks like this rouleau formation over here. Now, guys, which means what, guys? When we wake up in the morning, we play our phone for 10 minutes over here, our blood sample already mirroring a cancer patient already. Whether it actually become a terminal cancer or not is a separate matter, but it's already scary enough to know that our kids at their house and the kid inside their room itself has already been forming a rouleau formation over here. Dr. Magda Harvest went on by saying here, this actually causes a few symptoms, and one of them is actually poor in circulation. And we have a lot of people, in fact, on my own team, we have 3 reported cases of people with vertigo problem, eardrum imbalance. And after using the emGuarde, a lot of people actually give up and give a testimony that they have greatly improved on the condition. And some even claim that they have completely recovered from their vertigo issue. So ladies and gentlemen, if you have any friends or family members with such an issue over here, highly recommend to use an emGuarde machine over here. This also causes low oxygen transport. When our cell got low oxygen transport, it basically means heading towards the cancerous zone. This also causes headache and fatigue, difficulty concentration, and numbness and tingling sensation as well. Now, guys, this particular EMF is extremely, extremely dangerous to another group of people. And the group of people that we're talking about is actually young children. The small children is exceptionally vulnerable to this. How do I know that, ladies and gentlemen? Let's listen to Dr. Satminder, what he has to say about EMF danger to the children. Check this out.
The children's brain, like the hypothalamus, it tends to absorb 1.5 to 2 times more electromagnetic fields than an adult. But if you look at the child's bone marrow, it absorbs an amazing 10 times more electromagnetic radiation than an adult. The brain is much more absorbent, the skull is thinner, and because the relative size is smaller, if I give you the same dosage, your smaller tissue is going to absorb more than the bigger tissue. The first thing you have to do is keep the appliance that's emitting the radiation further apart from you, like handphones, off all power points when they're not in use. Number 3, you could use electromagnetic field harmonizers, which will balance out the radiation side effects from the appliance.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hand for this particular video as well. Now that we understand this a little bit more, ladies and gentlemen, yeah. So that's why it is very, very important to make sure that we have our children protected as well. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. With all these problems that we are talking about over here, allow me to introduce to you emGuarde. And this particular beautiful machine here has literally changed my lifestyle over here. And this is a machine we're talking about. It's only 430 grams. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually even lighter weight than the latest iPhone as well. Yeah, the latest iPhone Pro that we're talking about. It's only 430 grams. Now, for some of you guys who are doing this particular business on a part-time basis or doing this business on a full-time basis, this business is much easier to do compared to a Wi-Fi. Even Wi-Fi, you have to put wiring and stuff like that. You don't have to for this. Now, guys, allow me to share with you the official video on how to use the emGuarde. Check this out.
Your home is your sanctuary, a place of comfort, wellness, and security for your family. Today, we're using more digital and electronic devices. While they bring convenience and enjoyment, these devices also emit electromagnetic energies constantly during use. Invisible to our eyes, these electromagnetic energies affect the environment around us. As a result, we're exposed to these types of energies day in, day out. Introducing emGuarde, a patented technology by 𝐏𝐸𝐺. When turned on, emGuarde harmonizes targeted electromagnetic noise radiation within 1 gigahertz, creating a defense zone of 8 to a dedicated USB port, whether you're on the go, at work. emGuarde is designed to integrate seamlessly in any situation. You can now enjoy the benefits of technology without worrying about any potential risk. Protect your family's health and well-being. Contact your 𝐏𝐸𝐺 distributor today. emGuarde. Change your environment, change your life.
Change your environment, change your life. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for this particular video over here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now that we know that there is a solution in the market over here, allow me to also share with you a live test video that is actually done by Dr. Roland Victor over here on the before and after. Just now you saw what Dr. McDougall has shown you. Allow me to share with you this particular video, the specific video for it. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this video.
So what we can do is, you get on your phone for maybe close to about half an hour, holding it, and then we'll check again and see how does the capillary blood look like.
It looked like my first blood test result was clean, with no signs of blood clotting or blood clumps. But would just 30 minutes of cell phone usage really do any harm at all to my body? I hope not. Let's find out.
Let's have a look. So you can see all the cells now being stacked. See, all of them we cannot see those loose cells. You can see most of the cells now all stacked.
Clumped up together, right?
Exactly, exactly. Just look at that. The big message is always to try to reduce our exposure. It's almost impossible not to use, but try to be a bit more cautious in the usage.
So the thing is, I know you say it's better to reduce. It's impossible for somebody like me. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there that also need to be holding their phones So, is there anything I can do?
This is the device that can actually help harmonize your electromagnetic frequency wave. And you want to see how it works?
Sure.
Come.
With the Environment Harmoniser turned on beside me, Dr. Roland and I proceeded to do a third blood test to see just how well this technology supposedly suppresses EMI. Okay, so this looks completely different to the last test, doesn't it?
Yep. Clearly looks different, lesser rule of formation.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. We can see that there's a very, very big difference over here. Now, guys, I also want to share with all of you guys over here, the emGuarde, unlike any other product outside over here, ladies and gentlemen, is actually a patented technology over here, and we do not have any direct competitor right now. That means we do not have any other company with the same technology outside in the market over here. Now, we don't have any direct competitor, but we do have some indirect competitor as well. Now, what are some of the indirect competitor? We do have people who have the claim that if you put your stickers into your handphone over here, it can actually reduce down the EMF. Now, guys, I have those as well. I've actually tested it. It doesn't really quite work. Yeah, we also do have some indirect competitor who claim that you take the supplements and then after that you are strong against radiation. I don't know whether it works or not. I've never tried it. Also, some indirect competitor who claim that you have some device that you do some blow your entire body, it reduces radiation. Now, guys, with due respect, I have not tried this product. I don't know whether it works or not. But in good faith, even though if it works, ladies and gentlemen, these are what we call the habitually invasive product. What do we mean by habitually invasive? You have to change your daily habit in order to use the product. For example, the blower device that I was talking about just now. Now, maybe if you use the machine yourself, but use the device. But try asking your spouse to use it. Your spouse is not going to use it. Try asking your children to use it. They're not going to use it. Yeah. Whereas this particular device over here, you don't have to change any habit. It uses a Wi-Fi concept, ladies and gentlemen. All you need to do is to put it on, and it protects up to 1,000 over square feet or 100 over square meter that we're talking about of space. Generally speaking, on an average size home, one device is sufficient to cover your entire house itself. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, this particular product is such an amazing product, and there is an amazing business opportunity I'm about to share with all of you guys very, very soon. Now, guys, this is FCC. FCC stands for Federal Communications Commissions of the United States, and they are basically the one that guides the correct level of radiation. I mean, what is the acceptable level of radiation and what is not acceptable level of radiation? And one of the things that has been highlighted, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you another demo device as well, besides the one with Dr. Roland Victor. Now, this particular time, I want to bring your attention over to our brain frequency. These are our megahertz of our brain, our entire body frequency. But let me just zoom in and focus on these two. Our brain frequency is about 72 megahertz. Guys, this is one of the most important frequency that need to be protected at all time because our brain resonates with 72 megahertz. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to actually share with you guys another video to one of my early teacher. When I first come into the business 12 months ago, I want to introduce you to Egbert. And Egbert is one of my early teacher who have actually shown me how to do a presentation and done this particular demo live in person for me as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the demo of Mr. Egbert over here. Remember, 72 megahertz is very important. You get to see it from this particular device. Check this out.
Hey guys, Egbert here, and I would like to show you a very simple presentation about the emGuarde. Right, so the emGuarde is a environment harmonizer capable of suppressing the e-noises that are being produced by your electronic gadgets. Now, if you're wondering what an e-noise is, according to PubMed, e-noise is defined as signal from electronic products and instruments that emit radiation and electromagnetic fields. It includes not only the acoustic but also the non-acoustic noises. And if you're wondering what the non-acoustic noises, it means that the noises that we are unable to audibly hear. Hence, I have a very special detector called a 𝐏𝐫𝐨𝐝. So a 𝐏𝐫𝐨 is called a software-defined radio, where it's able to turn all of these inaudible e-noises into something that we can experience. So this is how it looks like, and let me show you guys. Let me show you how it works. All right, so it operates with an antenna, and as soon as I turn it on, as you can see, there is basically a sort of decibel reading for the noises, all right? And you see that there's a green waterfall spectrum. And if you're wondering what these E noises sound like, let me show you. Let me turn on the volume. My goodness, guys, these E.
Now, guys, you can see that it's on the 72 megahertz that we're talking about. That's exactly the brain frequency that need to be protected. There you go. This is 72 megahertz. Yeah, back to the video.
Noises are absolutely uncomfortable to hear. You hear them, and guys, it's absolutely crazy. All right. So over here, I'm going to show you exactly what the emGuarde does. Right. At the moment, the emGuarde is not plugged in. Okay. But I'm going to plug it in right now, and you're going to see firsthand how these E noises are immediately suppressed by emGuarde. So over here, the cable, in 3, 2, 1, go. Immediately. A reading here has dropped drastically, right? So I'm going to show you another reference. I'm going to unplug the emGuarde again, and we're going to see again how noisy these E noises are. Man, that's absolutely crazy. All right, so I'm going to plug the emGuarde in. I'm going to make sure that I am protected from all of these E noises that are capable of carrying radiation from our electronic gadgets. So a very simple presentation to showcase how the emGuarde works using the amazing detector budget. So I hope after this video, guys, it has perhaps raised some sort of awareness in terms of why emGuarde is necessary in today's 21st century. All right, change your environment, change your life, get an emGuarde, and protect yourselves from these E noises. 𝐿𝐵𝐿 here, take care.
Thank you so much, 𝐿𝐵𝐿. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause for his contribution for this particular video itself. Now, one final video I want to share with all of you guys. What about hotels? Some people ask me, what is the radiation environment in a hotel? Do you think hotel radiation is high or low, ladies and gentlemen? Go ahead and type your answers in the chat group for me, please. What do you all think? High or low in radiation for hotels? What do you all think? Yes, let me show to all of you guys over here. Check this out.
So I want you guys to see. Just zoom in on the phone, Ben. You can just take a look at this. On this room, it's unbelievable. Take a look at the chart. It is crazy, absolutely crazy. You have not seen this anywhere else. Okay. So now, what I want to find out is if we have the emGuarde, what can it do to us, and what can it do for us? So it's not connected. Now, I'm going to connect to the SDR software. I'm going to turn it on. In 3, 2, 1.
Immediately it drops, guys. Can you all see?
Look at the wave spectrum. It's gone down. I'm going to unplug the emGuarde. All right. Take a look at the suppression, guys. Here, take a look at the suppression. Boom. With the emGuarde turned on.
Immediately you can see the difference over here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me just go back to this slide over here. The people ask me how far is the radius protection over here? Now, the emGuarde covers up to 4-meter radius, ladies and gentlemen. Now, guys, 4-meter radius is actually 540 square feet or 54 square meter that we're talking about over here. Some people may ask me, Marcus, how do I know it's really 540 square feet? We have actually done a test report together with University Science Malaysia, one of the most prominent university in Malaysia. We engaged Dr. Yamanfai to do the test report for range for us as well. What Dr. Yamanfai did over here is this. He went to all these places over here, the classrooms in the university. He went into the houses, the living room in the sample houses as well. He even went to labs and actually test the range. And he discovered one thing. If your house do not have a lot of wall blockages, And he discovered one thing: if your house do not have a lot of wall blockages over here, now people ask me, Marcus, over the wall, can it actually go through? Okay, definitely we can, because it uses a Wi-Fi concept over here, right? It goes through wall as well. Now, but what Dr. Yamanfai discovered here is this: if your house do not have a lot of wall blockages over here, it went as far as 6-meter coverage as well. Yeah, as far as 6-meter coverage. And 6-meter coverage is 6-meter radius is actually 1,220 square feet or 120 square meter. Yeah, on average, it's about 50 to 120 square meter. In square feet form, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 1,000 to 1,600 square feet. I've actually measured many houses, and some of the houses even go as far as 1,600 square feet if they do not have a lot of wall blockages with them. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have already concluded the first part of my segment over here. And normally I'll take a couple of questions, but today we're slightly off with our time over here. Allow me to bring up the most important question, the most common question that people ask me here is this: how much is it, Marcus? Yeah, for this particular device. Now, for some of you guys, in Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, because emGuarde has already been officially launched, and whenever the product is officially launched in your respective country over here, ladies and gentlemen, then you will have actually installment scheme as well. Now, for some of you guys, like in India, emGuarde is not officially launched yet. You will not be able to have an installment scheme. Then you have to buy it at a full purchase price. But allow me to share this. Most people, they ask me, Marcus, how much is it? And I always like to share with them, it's about plus minus about $60 per month. You can actually have this particular device already. Now, to put it in perspective, $60 per month that we're talking about is about $2 per day. And to put things in perspective, it's actually cheaper than a breakfast that we're talking about. So this is actually very affordable. Now, for $60 a month that we're talking about over here with the installment scheme, we can have our entire family protected over here. Now, what other better thing than to have this particular device? Some people, they may say this to me, Marcus, you know what, I do not want to go for an installment scheme. I want to pay for the full price. Now, what is the full price are we talking about over here? Now, ladies and gentlemen, the full price we are talking about over here is actually about $1,500 that we're talking about over here. Some people may respond to me and say, wow, Marcus, $1,500. Some people may find it expensive. Some people have claimed. Now, guys, allow me to explain something. Yeah, whether it's expensive or not, expensive is a relative term. It depends on what you compare with. Now, to see something is expensive or not, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to compare with something. If I were to compare with this, ladies and gentlemen, if I were to say that $1,500, comparing it with you are being able to actually buy a 1 kilo gold bar, is it expensive or not, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, actually not expensive at all, because a 1 kilo gold bar is almost $100,000. So you got to compare with something to know whether something is expensive or not. Now, guys, allow me to do comparison and to share with all of you guys. Comparison number one is about our health. How much do you value your health? Comparison number two is about doing a business. After these two comparisons, you would agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, that $1,500 is absolutely not expensive at all. Comparison number one, ladies and gentlemen, is about our health. Correct me if I'm wrong for some of us. Now, when we get a little bit older, ladies and gentlemen, we save up what we call our medical fund. And our medical fund is either going to be given to hospital or insurance company, correct? Now, if we got small issue, small problem, maybe about $1,000. If we got big problem, probably about $100,000. But if we were to take the same fund and given to insurance company, it costs only a fraction of that, probably about $60 or $70 a month that we're talking about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the emGuarde works exactly the same like an insurance policy over here. Guys, it is important for me to recap and to say that it is according to WHO that the EMF poses a really real danger and really real threat for all of us. And it can possibly be carcinogenic as well. Now, guys, one of the main reasons why we have emGuarde is to protect our family against possible carcinogen, which is possible cancer over here. Some people come over to me and they say, Marcus, look at me. I'm already 60 over years old. I don't have any cancer. I'm okay. I'm good over here. Now, maybe for you it's good, ladies and gentlemen, but what about your whole family? Correct me if I'm wrong. If either one of our family member gotten cancer over here, it is still our problem over here. Correct me if I'm wrong. So that's why, guys, if I were to put things in perspective over here, this particular price of $1,500 is the price of an iPhone. We buy an iPhone for our children over here, it doesn't protect the family, but we buy an emGuarde over here, it will protect our entire family. So to me, $1,500 is not expensive at all. So now, if any one of our family member contracted cancer, we are talking about $100,000 here for medical treatment. Compare $100,000 and $1,500. Is it expensive right now for an emGuarde? Not at all, ladies and gentlemen. For me, it is very, very important to make sure if I want my children to study hard, they're going to spend a lot of time on screen. They are not going to spend a lot of time on a gadget. So it is unfair for me to ask my children to work hard, study hard on screen, but yet not get them protected with an emGuarde. So comparatively, not expensive at all. If you talk about our health, it's not expensive. But let me compare this with doing a business. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was a conventional businessman myself. As a conventional businessman, if I would say, hey, let me invite you guys and do a business together with me. Now, there is one very famous coffee shop franchise here in Malaysia. So famous, it is like the Starbucks of the United States. It's called the 𝐶𝐬𝐶 Coffee. If you want to do a 𝐶𝐬𝐶 coffee business over here, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you one question. How much money do you need to come up with startup capital in order to do a 𝐶𝐬𝐶 Coffee franchise? What do you all think, ladies and gentlemen? Type your answers in the chat group in US dollar context. If you were to start a business, a coffee shop, a 𝐶𝐬𝐶 Coffee, like a Starbucks coffee, how much do you think you need in order to start the business? Go ahead and type your answers in the chat group real quick for me, guys. What do you all think? Yes, 80,000 to 100,000 US dollar. I totally agree. It's about 400,000 to 500,000 ringgit that we're talking about. Now, if you spend 100,000 US dollar to actually start up a conventional business, is there any guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, that we're going to make money from it? There is no guarantee at all. Whereas this particular business, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a startup of $1,500 US or $60 US for the country who have it in installment scheme per month. And on average, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke to so many full-timers who are in this business. Their income ranges from $10,000 US, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, even some people up to $100,000 US per month doing this particular business. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you one of the greatest regret I have after starting this particular emGuarde business or 𝐸𝐸𝐺 business over here is that why didn't I start this business sooner? When you compare with doing a business, $1,500 US is nothing. Any conventional business will cost you tens of thousands of US dollar to 100,000. So no matter how we look at it, ladies and gentlemen, it is not expensive and it's very, very affordable as well. With that, ladies and gentlemen, let me move on in the final 20 minutes of my talk over here by sharing with all of you guys the remuneration plan of being with the 𝐸𝐸𝐺 business over here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share this with you. Allow me to actually share this with you. Sorry, Rebecca, we have actually way past the part on the 𝐶𝐬𝐶 Harmoniser. So sorry over here that you may be able to go to the Facebook and listen to the front part over here, yeah? Sorry about that. Now I'm on the part on the business plan already. Oh, sorry about that. So we just covered almost an hour worth of material already, yeah? Okay, let me just talk about the business plan over here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, 𝐸𝐸𝐺, the company over here, is also the same company that markets and produce Kangen water over here. Most people never heard of 𝐸𝐸𝐺, but most people heard of Kangen water, and this is a very reputable company known for their quality altogether. All right, and we have already presence in 26 different countries, 43 different locations already we're talking about. There's a good news and a bad news, ladies and gentlemen. Which one do you want to hear first? Good or bad? Type your answers in the chat group for me, please. Good news and a bad news. Let me see. Are we saying bad news first? Bad news is this. The emGuarde has only been launched in 10 different offices only. That's the bad news. And the good news here is the emGuarde has also been launched by only 10 different countries, which means there is a lot of opportunity for growth. There's a lot of business opportunity being in this particular business itself. So don't miss out this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about the company. The company is already a 51-year-old company. It is not a fly-by-night company. I remember when I lost my last business, my conventional business, I was asking my wife what type of company I should be joining to. My wife was telling me, don't join the company based on the product alone. You must make sure that you join a solid company. And this is actually literally the best of both worlds, ladies and gentlemen. We have a solid company with a new launch product over here. Very much like for some of us who are distributed in the house, can you imagine that we have actually restarted the clock of actually they're joining the business as though like it's on the day one of Kangen water itself. And this is exactly happening for all of us right now. Don't miss out this particular opportunity. Now, guys, allow me to share with all of you guys over here. There are 9 different types of commissions, associated with joining into this company over here. Now, for timing's sake, ladies and gentlemen, I'm only going to be focusing on the first part over here. I want to tell you guys something here. This is the first ever company, ladies and gentlemen, that I've ever joined where the product is actually patented. The product is patented. Nobody can actually have the same technology that we have right now. But not only the product is patented, even the commission system is also patented as well. Wow, commission system. Some people come to me and they say, Marcus, I thought this is some typical multi-level marketing company, right? I thought it's some typical multi-level marketing company. Why do they need to patent the commission? Now, guys, hang in there for a second. I used to think that it's some typical multi-level marketing company. But in my perspective, ladies and gentlemen, when I fully understand the commission system, now I personally call it a different structure over here. Personally, I am calling it like it is similar structure like a franchising structure. I'm going to share that with you later, ladies and gentlemen. Now, guys, at first I don't understand why they need to patent it. As soon as I get into it deeper and really understand the entire remuneration system, wow, I was so excited about it simply because it is very, very powerful. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, if you so wish to actually make a few $100,000 US, you can do with this particular 888 point system. Let me show it to you, ladies and gentlemen. But before that, let me use some terminology. Let's say you come into this particular business, depending on which territory that you're in. Let's say you pay $1,500 US, that immediately you become a distributor with us. And all the friends and family members that you sell to, these are called your direct sales, right? Very straightforward, directly you sell to them. Now, if your friends and family members also sell to their friends and family members, these are called your indirect sales. All right, so your direct sales plus indirect sales is equivalent to group sales, ladies and gentlemen. Now, remember the term group sales because group sales is used for your promotion purposes, to unlock, to rank up, to have a higher level of commission. Now, guys, allow me to share with you the gadget. The price is about $1,520 US, thereabout in different territories, on average about $1,500 US, on which that $520 US is actually been distributed out as commission to the agent. Now, guys, if you take $520 US and divide by 1,520, you're looking at about 27% commission, about on average about 30% commission, fairly normal, fairly average. Now, the $520 US is divided into 8 different slices of pizza that you can see in front of you. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 slices of pizza. Every slice of pizza is known as 1A. 1A is given to typically a commission agent. So 1 slice of pizza is given to 1 agent. 8 slices of pizza is given up to 8 agents that we're talking about. Now, 1 slice of pizza is as much as $65 US commission. $65 US multiplied by 8, you get about $520 US for 8 slices of pizza. So far, so good, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so far so good, yeah? All right, now let me move on over here and to share with you the last 3 slides over here in today's presentation. This is the rank up slide. How do you rank up into the next level? As soon as you purchase this particular device, $1,500 US over here, you start off with a level of 1A. So every 1A, ladies and gentlemen, more is $65 US more. So what it means here is this: your first direct sales, you get $65 US. The second direct sales that you get also $65 US. The first 2 customers that you sell to, you get $65 and $65 US. Now, as soon as you start selling to the third customer, ladies and gentlemen, you immediately rank up to becoming a 2A right now. And becoming a 2A basically also means that you are doubling your commission from a 1A level already. So which means your third direct sales to your 10 direct sales, you'll be getting $130 US per device over here. So far, so good. Now, after you got a total group sales of 10 sales over here, ladies and gentlemen, you will get promoted to become a 3A level right now. 10 group sales, you become a 3A, and your 11 personal sales onwards to 20 personal sales, you'll get $195 US per unit of sales. Okay, now if your total group sales accumulated to 20 units, then you actually get ranked up to become your up rank to 4A level. At a 4A level, your 21 unit sales onwards to 50 units, you will get $260 US per unit over here. Some people ask me this question, Marcus, do we need to do 20 unit per month, Marcus, or do we need to do cumulatively for the whole group lifetime? So the answer is cumulative, the whole group, 20 units. If you really catch what I'm trying to say here is this, ladies and gentlemen, all the sales will be cumulatively add up, which means if you decide to subscribe into one device over here, definitely you'll go to become a highest rank. The question is how and when how far and when are you going to be in a 6A rank over here? So it's cumulative sales that we're talking about, yeah? Thank you, Weibo. All right, so if your total cumulative sales has increased to 50 units, ladies and gentlemen, you will rank up again to become a 5A level. At a 5A level, your 51 unit direct sales onwards, you're looking at 325, 325, 325, 325, 325 per sales. Just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, you start making really good amount of money for A rank onwards, all right? Now, guys, if your total group sales cumulative to 200 units, you become a 6A level. That is the highest level of our direct commission over here. So your 201 sale onwards, you get $390 per unit over here. 390, 390, 390, 390 and above. It is important for me to mention, ladies and gentlemen, for some of you guys, can I just ask you guys a very quick question over here? How many of you guys inside the room here owns a Kangen water machine? Can you help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please? How many people owns a Kangen water machine? Just type yes in the chat group for me, please, right now. Thank you, Weibo. From India, what about the rest of you guys? Only one person? Come on, I own a Kangen water machines. Yes, we have KG as well. Thank you for your response. For those of you guys who owns a Kangen water machine, obviously you're looking at 30%, even 30% more on average, 30% more commission that you see over here, yeah? Just so you know. Now, today I'm only strictly talking about emGuarde and for people who just come into the emGuarde business only. All right, Darapan, thank you. Thank you for your response. Okay, the last two slides over here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm going to do a simulation over here to tell you how much money potentially we can make, ladies and gentlemen. Now, guys, allow me to say this. This is the most important slide I need to show to you, and yet it's the most complicating slide. Guys, can I get your permission on something? Because it's so complicating over here, it is okay that I get your permission that I will ask you a lot of questions. And guys, you'll try to answer me back as quickly as possible. Because why? If you're able to answer me, you follow the slide a lot better. Guys, is that okay? May I get your permission? If it is a yes, can you help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please? Thank you, Weibo. Will it be okay? If it is yes, help me type yes in the chat group for me, please. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, guys, let me get started over here. Follow me as closely as you could over here. I'm going to go a little bit faster, slightly behind time over here. Let's say this is you, ladies and gentlemen, for $1,500 over here, or for some of you guys who have emGuarde launch in your country, about $60 per month, you are in the business already. And the first person you decide to sell to is someone by the name of Tom, and Tom is your 1A level. How much is your commission over here? Go ahead and type your answers in the chat group real quick for me, please. How much is your commission? $65 is actually correct over here. And if $65 is correct, green color represents your commission, yeah? And if you sell the second person is also your 1A level. How much is your commission here, ladies and gentlemen, for second person? $65 is actually correct. Thank you very much. Now you sell to the third person over here. The third person is actually your roles is your 2A level already. And how much is your commission for your third person over here? Type your answers in the chat group real quick for me. $130 is correct. Thank you, LV. 130. Now let's go back into Tom over here for a second. And Tom has decided, hey, you know what? I like to do this business as well on a part-time basis. I want to sell to my friend by the name of Grace. And Tom decided to sell to Grace. And after Tom sells to Grace, Tom will make how much money? Type your answers in the chat group real quick. $65 is actually correct. Now, next question here is a trick question. How much, what about you? How much will you make from Grace sales over here? Answers in the chat group for me very quickly. Borislava, thank you. $65 is actually correct. Not only with Grace, ladies and gentlemen, Grace sells to Polly, Polly sells to Arthur, Arthur sells to Ali, Abu Bakar, Akau, 8 generation downward. You will also get $65 in this 1A franchise over here. Now, guys, allow me to actually say something over here. The common question I get asked a lot during this particular part is this. People ask me, Marcus, what kind of structure is this? Is this a multi-level marketing structure over here? Now, guys, allow me to explain this. Now, the self-employed structure is a very big spectrum. Self-employed spectrum is a very big spectrum. Anybody that doesn't receive a fixed income over here, they're in the self-employed. People who are driving Grab, people who are driving Uber over here, they're also in the self-employed industry as well. Now, guys, allow me to explain this. On the extreme left is the multi-level marketing structure of the self-employed. On the extreme right is the agency structure, which is like insurance and like unit trust. Now, people ask me, Marcus, which one does this particular structure fall under? And frankly speaking, in my personal opinion, just my personal answer, not the company official answer, neither one of this side. It falls under somewhat in the middle, where I personally call it a franchising structure. Now, guys, allow me to explain to you. Even though this is not a company official answer, let me tell you why I call it like a franchising structure. The way I see it is very different from the rest of the people. Every single person that I sold to is a franchise. It's like a McDonald's franchise. Let me explain to you. If you actually, let's say, for example, if I were to sell to Tom over here, Tom is exactly like a McDonald's franchise. Anybody else that's going to buy from Tom Happy Meal over here? So I will actually get a royalty payment, correct? Tom will get a royalty payment, I will get a royalty payment over here. And guys, this is exactly the same. The only difference between the McDonald's franchise and our franchise over here is this, that our overriding very much depending on the lane, the franchise lane that people is at over here. If the franchise lane is a 1A franchise, all our overriding will be 65 US dollar. If our franchise lane fall under the 2A franchise over here, all our overriding will be how much, guys? Type your answers in the chat group. If it is at a 2A level, our franchise overriding will be 130. Yes, you got it correctly, ladies and gentlemen. Can you follow me and see how powerful this particular remuneration system is? It's $130. I'm only talking about 2A. I haven't even talked about 6A yet, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, there are more to come, and let me show you more. Right now, guys, I don't know about you. I don't have a 1.5 million US dollar to open a McDonald's franchise. But I do have 1,500 US dollar to open this franchise over here. Now, guys, the franchise is not even paid by me. It's paid by you, ladies and gentlemen, the people who come into the business. Many people, I actually explained to them, got me wrong. The main product I'm selling is not emGuarde. emGuarde is actually marketed and sold by a very reputable company called 𝐏𝐸𝐺. But that's not really the real product I'm selling. Ladies and gentlemen, guess what the real product I'm selling over here? The real product I'm selling is actually business partnership is the real product I'm selling over here. So the reason why, by the grace of God Almighty over here, I've gotten lots and lots of business in the last 12 months over here is because the people that I'm looking at is the people that likes to be in the business to make a lot of money for themselves over here. Global business partnership, absolutely right. Let me move on. Kim. Kim is still your 2A franchise over here. Because Kim is a 2A franchise you sold to Kim. How much money do you guys make? Answers in the chat group. Real quick for me, please, guys. Sell to Kim. How much money would you guys make? 130 US dollar. Thank you, LV. Is correct. Kim has decided to sell to 3 of her friends, Ali, Abu, and Ani over here. When Kim sells to Ali, the friend, how much money will Kim make? This is Kim's first customers. Type your answers in the chat group real quick for me. Kim will make 65 US dollar is actually correct because it's the first customer. How much money will you make from Ali sales over here? Answers in the chat group real quick. You will make 130 US dollar is correct. Not only for Ali, you will make 130 for Abu, 130 for Ani as well because they're all under your 2A franchise over here. Now, guys, let me just calculate whether total sales is there a total group sales of 10 units because after 10 units group sales, your next direct sales will be in the 3A franchise. Let's calculate, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, but indirect sales also counted. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you have 10 group sales over here already. Congratulations, your next sales to May, you're at a 3A franchise. And for your next sales, how much is your commission? Answers in the chat real quick for me. Your commission will be how much? Type your answers in the chat group for me for May. Oops, I see it stop moving. 195 is actually correct, ladies and gentlemen. And all the people that is actually underneath the May 3A franchise here, how much money will you be making, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody that is actually underneath the May franchise over here, you're looking at 195, 195, 195, slightly shy of $200 a piece over here. Can you start seeing how powerful this can be? Now, people ask me this question all the time, Marcus. So, okay, I get it. I'm interested already. What is the cutoff date that we're talking about? Is the cutoff date end of the month? Answer is no. There is no cutoff date. The company's franchising system is so powerful that it enables us to actually do this. You submit a sales today, 10 working days later, the commission will come out. You submit a sales tomorrow, 10 working days, the commission will come out. We get paid by this company on a daily basis as well. This is how awesome this particular business is. Now, guys, allow me to explain this further. I'm going to move down from Ani here downwards. I'm going to share with you. It's going to get a little complicating, guys. Bear with me for a while. I'm going to share with you where is the breakaway point. Of course, there must be a breakaway point somewhere, right? So, guys, let me explain this downward. It's going to get a bit complicating. Bear with me, okay? Now, Ani decided to sell to the first customer by the name of Bryce. Ani will make how much, guys? Answers in the chat room real quick. Ani will make $65, that's correct. And how much would you make from Bryce sales over here? Answers in the chat real quick for me. Bryce, you were making $130. Thank you, LV. That is actually correct because Bryce is still under your 2A franchise over here. Not only with Bryce, Ani sells to Ben, you make $130. Ani sells to Bob, you make $130. Now, Bob decided to sell to the first customer, Joe. How much money will Bob make? Answers in the chat group. $65 is actually correct. How much money will you make from Joe sales over here? From Joe sales, you will be making $130 correct because you're under the 2A franchise still. Bob sells to Jack, you still make $130, and Bob sells to John, you make $130. Now, John decided to sell to Dawn. How much money will John make over here? Answers in the chat group real quick for me. When John sells to Dawn, how much money will John make? $65 is correct. Now, how much money will Dawn make right now? Answers in the chat group real quick. How much money will you make from Dawn's sales over here? I know some of the seniors are giving the correct answer over here. Some of the seniors are not giving the correct answer over here. Now, LV is still saying $130 over here. Now, in normal circumstances, 130 is actually correct. Now, but for these particular circumstances, it's a little bit different. Guys, you remember earlier on I showed you the pizza, the slice of pizza, right? The pizza got how many slices? Answers in the chat group real quick. Yes, correct, Boris. The pizza got 8 slices over here. What we do need to do is to calculate how many slices of pizza has already been given out already. Now, let's calculate together, okay? John sells to the first customer, Dawn. Obviously, John is a 1A already, right? So 1A, because it's only the first customer, 1A stands for 1 slice of pizza given to John. Now, guys, take note over here. John is already a 3rd customer to Bob. Can you see that? 3rd customer to Bob. See, Bob, 1st customer, 2nd customer, 3rd customer to Bob. So hence, Bob is already automatically a 2A already. So 2A from Bob means Bob is 2 slices of pizza given to Bob. Now, Bob is also a 3rd customer to Ani. So Ani is already a 2A, also, and 2 slices of pizza given to Ani. So Ani is also a 3rd customer to Kim. And Kim is already a 2A level, 2 slices of pizza given to Kim. Now, guys, let's calculate. 2, 4, 6, 7. How many slices of pizza has been given out already? Type your answers in the chat group real quick for me. So the 7 slices of pizza given to away already correct. And how many slices of pizza left for you, ladies and gentlemen? Answers in the chat group over here for Dawn. 1 is actually correct. So in this case, Dawn, you only make $65 because that is only the last piece of pizza left for you. Guys, take note over here. There will never be overpayment because it's a zero-sum game. Maximum per device, there's only 8 slices of pizza to be given away. Since 7 slices has been given, only 1 slice is left for you. So far, so good, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are doing awesome over here. You're giving me all the correct answer. Let me go on a bit faster now. John sells to the 2nd customer, Dave. Dave and Dawn is the same status, so you also get $65. Now, John is going to sell to the 3rd customer, which is to Dan. John sells to 3rd customer, then John will make how much money, ladies and gentlemen? Answers in the chat group real quick for me. John will make $130. That's correct because that's a 3rd customer, Dan, right? How about you? How much money will you make from Dan over here at this particular stage? 130 is not correct. Now, guys, this is a trick question over here. Let's see. Boris is actually 0. Boris is actually correct. No, money is actually correct. Now, allow me to actually show it for the first timer in the house. How do we calculate this? Let's calculate this together, yeah? Now, Dan is a third customer to John. That makes John already a 2A, right? The new triangle over here. Now, John is already a 2A. Bob remains a 2A. Ani remains a 2A. Kim remains a 2A. Now, how many slices of pizza has been given out already from Dan's level over here? Guys, answer in the chat group real quick. How many slices of pizza has already been given out? The answer is 8 slices of pizza has been given out. That's correct. And how many slices of pizza left for you for Dan over here? The answer is yes. Thank you, Victor. Is 0 slice of pizza, which is why Dan is your breakaway point, and this is where you get 0 commission moving from Dan on over here. Guys, remember the name Dan, okay? Let's do it one more time. Remember the name Dan, because on the next slide, I'm going to show you there's something that you can do to unlock Dan's commission further downward, yeah? Dan is also known as the non-8A sales, and the non-8A sales do not count as the group sales counting all together. Guys, some people say, yeah, like that is not good, Marcus. I thought I can override forever and ever. Guys, let me tell you something. Only 2 things is forever and ever for sure. Death and tax is forever. Yeah, guys. Now, let me tell you why I'm totally at peace with this remuneration system is because, now, guys, I've only shown you the depth, which is the 8A level depth over here. I didn't show you the width. What if your Kim is a super salesperson and Kim decided to buy a device and go to Australia and sell 100 units personal sales? How much money will you make if Kim goes to Australia and sell 100 unit personal sales? How much money is that are we talking about over here? Type your answers in the chat group. Let's see if you get it. Not $6,500 US LV. That's not correct. Let's give it a go again. If Kim decides to go to Australia and sell 100 unit personal sales, how much money would you make? Give it a go, ladies and gentlemen, and see whether you can get it answer correctly or not. Yes, Castell is right. You get 13,000 US dollar, correct? Guys, what I'm trying to say is this: the depth is maximum 8A, but the width is no limit, which means there is no limit on how many franchises you wanted to open. The great leaders that have been making $100,000 a month, ladies and gentlemen, is simply because they have thousands of franchise that have opened over here. That's why the overriding commission is so much. Can you see this opportunity already, ladies and gentlemen? If you can see the opportunity, help me type yes in the chat group right now for me, please. Awesome, awesome. Now, guys, let me move a bit faster towards the end of the last 5 minutes over here. Let's say the total group sales, cumulative group sales has gone up to about 20 units over here. You become a 4A level. 4A level sales to Tony. How much money, how much commission would you be making? Answers in the chat group real quick for me, please. Tony is 260. Answer is correct. And everybody under the Tony franchise, how much would you be making? You'll be making 260, 260, 260 until the 8A of pizza is maxed out. Yeah? And if total cumulative group sales you have actually rise up to 50 units, you become a 5A, and 5A you sell to Simon. How much is your commission from Simon sales at a 5A level, ladies and gentlemen? Answers in the chat group real quick for me. 325 is actually correct, ladies and gentlemen. And all the people underneath Simon over here, you'll also be getting overriding of 325, 325, 325 until the 8A is maxed out. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, if your total cumulative group sales has rise to 200 units, you become a 6A. And with Sam, you'll be making 390, 390, 390 until the 8A is maxed out. Guys, is this exciting or not? Yes or no, ladies and gentlemen? Go ahead and type yes in the chat group if you find that this is an exciting commission scheme to be. Yes, thank you very much, LV. Now, there is not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people ask me this common question, Marcus, what if after 6A, what's going to happen? Are we going to start all over again from 1A? Answer is no. After 6A, every single franchises that you recruit from then onwards is 6A, 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 6A. But guys, I also want to bring you to an attention to a leadership bonus. Now, people ask me, Marcus, why do you work so hard? The maximum amount of client I meet in a day is 10. I work so hard for one reason. And the reason is called the leadership bonus over here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me share with you what is a leadership bonus. If you're a very serious full-timer, or my boss called me the overtimer over here, let me share with you the leadership bonus. Once you become a 6A, the company will reward you with a $3,000 one-off bonus and say, good job, well done. $3,000. Wow, that's a lot of money. Now, guys, at the 6A level here, if you manage to actually bring up from all the people that you sold to, 2 of the people to do exactly the same thing that you do, which is like this. If you manage to get 2 6A under you, you become a you remember which name is that? Can you remember? Type your answers in the chat group. The name that I asked you to remember is Dan. Can you remember Dan? Then you stop overriding, right? Guys, there's only half of the story. When you reach Dan level, is stop overriding. No, when you become a 6A2 level, on average, you have another extension of at least 10 more generations of overriding from Dan level onwards. Yes, you hear me correctly. At least more than 10 more generation downwards of overriding. Not as much as the other overriding, maybe about $15 per unit we're talking about over here. But guys, according to my great leader, Mr. Amos, 95% of his income comes from the income after the 8A level over here, from the leadership bonus. So yes, you hear me correctly. When you become a 6A2, your commission will go down further. Now, guys, next level, if you manage to get 2 of your guys to do exactly the same thing that you do, which means that you have 2 6A2 under you, you become a 6A2-2, the company will give you another $12,000 bonus as well. All right? And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, why we work so hard? Why I work so hard is because of the gold color, which is 6A2-3, which means if you manage to get 2 of these guys to become a 6A2-2 just like you, just like this, you become 6A2-3, and the 6A2-3, the company will give you a one-off bonus of $25,000, one-off, and plus, you hear me correctly, plus $5,000 monthly basic pay. Of course, there are performance requirement over here. $5,000 monthly. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know for a fact when I reach this level, this is where my financial freedom number is going to be. 6A2-4, you get $10,000 monthly. 6A2-5, you get that 15,000. And my big boss is here, 6A7-6, where you get a one-off bonus of $200,000 plus $20,000 monthly. Ladies and gentlemen, up until this level over here, how many of you guys feel that this is an amazing business to be in? Help me type yes in the chat group if you find that this is the best business to be in. Go ahead and type yes in the chat group for me, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I end over here, allow me to just do one more thing. Remember in the beginning of the presentation, I give you guys a challenge. The challenge I want to give to all of you guys here is this. For some of you guys who have not bought into an emGuarde, thank you. Thank you, guys. For any one of you guys who have not bought into an emGuarde, let me give you a challenge over here. Now, guys, remember I mentioned early on, the biggest regret that I have joining into this business is why didn't I join into the business very much earlier? So today, I'm going to end it with a challenge. For some of you guys who have not bought into the emGuarde, guys, I want to share with you something that Tony Robbins says. Tony Robbins says this: it's in a moment of the decision, of your decision, where your destiny is shaped. Guys, please write it down. It is in your moment of your decision that your destiny is shaped. What Tony Robbins is trying to say here is this: if you want to make a change in your life, if you're unhappy with where you're at right now, you need to first begin by making that decision. Not later, not tomorrow, not let me consider and see how, right now, ladies and gentlemen. The moment has come, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to invite you all to make a decision. If any one of you guys would like to make a decision that today is the day that you're going to achieve financial freedom for your family, I'd like you to make a decision to commit to buy one emGuarde machine. You can get started with this particular business. Now, guys, what's going to happen here is this. If that is you, ladies and gentlemen, help me type yes in the next 60 seconds over here, okay? After you type yes in the next 60 seconds over here, I want to personally thank you on behalf of your family. Guys, I need you to know one thing. Whether your decision is a yes or not today, it does not help me any financially better off position. But what it actually does is to make a better off financial position for your family member. Okay, in the next 60 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and type yes in the chat group if you decided you want to go for an emGuarde unit, an emGuarde business, or for some of you guys who want to buy another extra emGuarde unit, go ahead and type yes over here. I want to thank you on behalf of your family. Guys, are you all ready? All right, guys, be with me. The 60 seconds starts right now, ladies and gentlemen. 60 seconds starts right now. How many of you guys are going to make a decision today to go for an emGuarde, another emGuarde unit? Yes, thank you so much, Boris, on behalf of your family over here. Your life is never going to be the same again. Thank you, LV, for your decision over here. Your life will never be the same again. Thank you, Weibo, for making the decision for your family. Your life will never be the same again. What about the rest of you guys? If you guys are inspired by the talk that you have listened to today, and you want to make a financial decision for your family to buy an emGuarde, go ahead and type yes in the chat group. I want to thank you on behalf of your family. Yes, Fahin, thank you so much on behalf of your family. Last 10 seconds over here. Last 10 seconds. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time over here. My name is Marcus, and right before I go off, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you see over here, I want to invite you to make one very important decision, which is, have you bought your EEW ticket already? The next EEW ticket is happening on the 17th and 18th of January, ladies and gentlemen. Now, EEW is the most important workshop that you need to commit to in order to actually bring your business to the next level. Guys, don't make this mistake that I've heard from my consultant all the time is this, Marcus, let me not commit to the ticket first. I'll see how many people I manage to bring into the business and let them decide on whatever the time they want to come in. Guys, don't do that, right? I remember when I first come into the business over here, Mr. Amos said, Marcus, commit to 10 tickets immediately. So I did exactly what he says. Then only 7 people actually show up. So I was talking to Mr. Amos. Mr. Amos, I committed 10 tickets, only three of the ticket was burned. And Mr. Amos gave me a very important advice, and he says, Marcus, better that you commit to 10 tickets and 3 people not show up than to commit to 0 ticket and nobody show up as well. And Mr. Amos was right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not committed to this particular workshop, can I invite you all to buy into the workshop ticket right now? Because normal price is 300 ringgit. Until the end of this month, you have an early bird price of only 150 ringgit only. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to catch me on the next workshop over here, and trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I have actually designed and prepared something very, very explosive and powerful for your team and for your business. I'm going to be there in the next EEW. If you have not bought your ticket, go ahead and buy your ticket right now. To give you a perspective, for some of you guys who are part-timer, I want to do this on a part-time basis, go for 5 tickets. If you guys are full-timer in the business, no less than 10 tickets. Let me just share with you to inspire upon you. My team has already purchased 43 tickets to come for the EEW over here to give you guys a good show. All right, guys, for some of you guys who have not purchased, remember to scan over here right now and book your EEW ticket for your team. All right there, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for my time over here. I hope this talk has been an impactful talk for some of you guys. And thank you for all the people who committed for their family as well. Thank you so much for your time. I'm going to leave this screen with you. For some of you guys who have not bought the ticket, just scan in over here and actually buy the ticket right now. Thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. I look forward